Hello, you beautiful folks. Welcome to Project Horizon, the English cast for VCTCN. We're back here for the second day of Stage 2. My name is Mike, and I've got with me the wonderful, beautiful, the other way around, Caster Ketz. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing, Mike, and I am so excited to see both of these teams play today. We haven't seen TYL since Stage 1, and we haven't seen Bilibili really play at their best, at their peak. Well, again, since Stage 1, really. I mean, they beat Liquid, but that's without Nats, and then they couldn't really make it work against Sentinels and Wolves, their regional rivals. But maybe we get to see a little bit of a resurgence here, especially from the likes of YZ. What do you think?
You're exactly. I mean, we're gonna talk later with the player walkouts, what players we have to look out for, especially when it comes to TYL, because I have a couple of newcomers here, especially one rookie that we're gonna talk about, but that's gonna be later. Until then, you're completely right. BLG. I mean, they've managed to go to Toronto, unfortunately, in let's say a result that you are. I don't know if you're directly happy with going 1 and 2 in groups. Yes, you get the wins against Team Liquid, but then again, it was without Nats because of the visa issues. But you could, I mean, I also see an argument where you say okay, they really didn't have their chance because, okay, first against Team Liquid, which they actually won, and then you go against Sentinels, and then your regional rivals Wolves, which you've already lost to in the playoffs from your region. So I mean, I can get both sides. To be honest, I mean, a lot of people probably would have said that BLG wouldn't get to playoffs in Masters Toronto. But that being said, they have the chance to do it right again. They have the chance to have a clean slate now in groups, the chance to go, I mean, maybe 4-1 again, like last time, like in Stage 1, or even 5-0. So who knows? But that being said, BLG is a team that we know a lot about. We know what they can do and maybe also their limits. The same cannot be said about TYL. Is there anything we should know about this team, or what are the unknowns here?
Well, the biggest unknown has to be their new player Yo-Yo. Plucked straight out of Ascension. We've never seen him play in Tier 1 before. This is a complete mystery as to whether he's gonna gel with this team or even whether he's good on an individual level at this level of Valorant. Because there's a big divide, especially in regions like China, between Ascension and the upper levels of Tier 1. And when you're going against a team that went 4-1 in Stage 1, like Bilibili Gaming, that's scary. That's a very scary opponent to have your debut game against. And I think that's going to be their win factor. They need to be able to get Yo-Yo integrated into that team and off to a running start if they really want to make this work against a very strong opponent today.
Like when we have a couple of other teammates that haven't played in Stage 1, so they're not necessarily complete rookies or completely new to TYL. They have been playing with them for a couple of weeks, but still maybe a bit newer there. You're right. The question about how they can coordinate and how they can gel together is going to be very important, especially considering that, I mean, a player like TYL had some caliber players, like, for example, and I think his name is now ZJC, previously known as Alphabet Man, who's now gone to EDG. I mean, ZDC, EDG, I mean, fits somewhat. But yeah, so, you know, they've been poached quite a bit on that side as well. So it's definitely a couple of question marks we have here. But then again, I mean, that could also be on your side. Like, who knows? Like, sometimes the teams that are the most either stressful or the most dangerous are the ones where you just have no idea. I mean, it's like, I don't know if that's an actual quote from Sun Tzu or it's just made up, but if you don't know what the enemy is doing, how can you prepare for it?
That's true, and I think the quote can be extended. If you don't know what you're doing, then the enemy doesn't know what you're doing either. So hopefully today both teams do know what they're doing and we get some really good Valorant as we see these players start to walk in here. Look, the last time BLG went up against TYL, it was BLG that came out on top, even though they did lose Bind, which is back on the menu now in this stage, but they did win Icebox and Lotus. So maybe TYL have rethunked their game plans on those maps, or maybe Yo-Yo coming in has changed those game plans to a level that they can triumph over BLG here. But we're just gonna have to wait and see, and they're gonna have to make some changes to how they played from last time, because again, they went 1-4 in Stage 1. That is not a result that you're gonna be very happy with as a team or even as an organization. So we're going to have to see how they gel together here and what kind of new things that they've come up with. But who are the players that you're looking out for, Mike, here on both sides?
Oh, I mean, BLG, we can talk about YZ's judge like every day of the week. But let me be honest, like in BLG, like my pick would be Rusha. Rusha looked so great when it comes to regional. Maybe, okay, struggle a bit in Toronto. But, I mean, especially for VCTCN, the caliber of player that he is just so strong. And that's like, especially one of the things that I find most difficult, because not only do you have YZ, not only do you have Rusha, but then you have 3 other players where you're like, okay, that's these are good players. Like, maybe you're a bit scared of them, but you can see TYL just walking out and look at Slowly just being so happy to be there with all the fans there. And yeah, exactly. And honestly, I forgot what I wanted to say. So you keep yapping, and I'll just keep in mind if I remember.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're seeing Scales come in here. Historically has been the highest rated player for TYL, even though maybe not the most impactful all the time, but a very, very consistent player. So TYL, you shouldn't think of this as a big divide in between these teams, at least in terms of firepower and individual skill level. These teams are actually a lot closer than you would think if you look at individual players and how they perform and how they look going up against, I mean, throughout the course of stage 1 and in the case of BLG Toronto as well. But it's really going to come down. Look at that bundle. I love the BLG bundle. Just a little side note, that pink is beautiful and their jersey is really pretty though. So I think they're going to win just because that jersey is prettier, but regardless, I think, you know, all TYL needs is a little bit better cohesion, a little bit better game plan, because this core for BLG has been around for a long time, and you said it best. When they set up YZ to just dive in with that judge, that's not a lot of teams can do. I mean, not even an FNS-led NRG could handle it.
Yeah, although there was this one round where FNS like bought a judge and then immediately domed YZ. I think it was on split as well. So I mean, if you ignore that one round, yeah, you're completely right. Like YZ is also one of those players, but like he also franks out without a judge. Like, I mean, imagine we were playing Breeze. Like, obviously he's not gonna play judge, but I still trust him to get at least like 20 kills in a good map, you know. But you're right, BLG coming out, as you said, the beautiful. I mean, let's be honest. Like, you have to be brave to, without being sexist, you have to be brave to use pink. And I freaking love pink. I love the BLG bundle. You're completely right. And with that combination with blue as well, I mean, it looks just so great on the players as well. And you can see, once again, they're just coming out. Levius, oh, we gotta talk about Levius. I'm sorry, I just remembered. He's one of those, like, players that maybe isn't that flashy, but like, man, sometimes he just gets a 3K from a corner and you're like, what the heck just happened? You blink and you miss it, and then suddenly the round is just over. And that's the caliber of players that we're talking about when it comes to Bilibili.
Yeah, I mean, those Sentinel players, you see it increasingly in a lot of teams across regions, where those Sentinel players have become core to being huge factors of whether a team wins or loses, especially these games against stronger opponents, or even just regional. I mean, it doesn't matter what match it is. These Sentinel players have become very, very important win conditions for a lot of teams. And Levius is exactly that. He plays by Cypher and KJ, and he needs to be the one that anchors. He needs to be the one. He's gonna be the wall that stops YZ, or the wall that crumbles under that pressure. So it's gonna be a lot up to him, and he has been good so far, but you know, he's gonna have to step up a little bit more as well at the same time.
Exactly, and when it comes to the map veto that's gonna come pretty soon, we have to talk about another newcomer for TYL, who isn't a player, but their head coach, Hypnotizing, who is also new to the team, also joined, I think, maybe a couple of weeks ago. So the question is, what impact is he going to have on the team? And as we see the maps, let's see, we have Bind as the first one, the one you were talking about previously, and then Lotus, what I assume is your favorite map when it comes to your background. And then, interestingly enough, Icebox, another one of those maps where you're like, okay, YZ is just not going to play a judge here. He just can't.
Yeah, that's true. And this is kind of interesting. Well, first of all, I'm a little sad that we're not getting Corrode. You know, it's gotten banned already. I want to see what teams run on it, but fine, it's fine. It's not my problem. The thing is, though, that this is the exact same 3 maps that BLG and TYL played when they last went up against each other. And TYL won Bind, but lost Lotus and Icebox. So again, it's really, I mean, have they gone back and fixed the issues that they had on those maps? And honestly, those two maps were not close, and neither was Bind. TYL absolutely destroyed BLG on Bind, and then kind of got a little bit rolled on the other two maps. So both of these sides actually have a lot to show here in terms of how they've gone back and looked at what they did wrong and what TYL or the opposing side did well, and how they can improve. So it's actually a very interesting rematch. It's a perfect rematch, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, completely. I mean, technically, it's somewhat of a mirror matchup in the sense of like deja vu matchup, you could see, when it comes to map select. And now we go into Bind and we see interesting comms coming from both sides. A couple of agents that we've seen on this map all too well, like Fade and Viper, for example. But interestingly enough, Ninebody with the explosiveness of the double duelist together with Neon and Yoru. So it seems like they're gonna go guns blazing this time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It is a bit of a composition change from the last time we've seen these teams play Bind all the way back in 2024. YZ stepping away from that Yoru and going for the race, even though we are in a Yoru meta, and on the other side on TYL, we actually see them leaning into that with double duelist Neon Yoru. Now that's interesting, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, but it makes sense though. I mean, Neon, when you talk about duelists, there are two things that you need. It's an entry maker, like a space maker, like race jumps or jet dash, something like that, or neon dash in this case, and someone who can, in the best case, flashes. In this case, obviously, maybe you have KO as well that you get flashes, but let's be honest, if you know Yoru knows what he's doing, then there are no stronger flashes than Yoru flashes. So the explosiveness in this case. And I mean, technically they start on defense, but still we can see the explosiveness considering, for example, that they have 3 players in B long. So it seems like there's going to be a skirmish on that side.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we step into the game here on the first round, the pistol round, we're going to see a little bit of a heavier default towards B here. But TYL, they've kicked it off with a bang, 2 kills and a nice little dink onto Russia.
Yeah, absolutely no chance, just like that. Apart from a big blunder from TYL in this case, I think this round's already over. The 3 other BLG players that you said, Russia on 13 HP, that's basically nothing. They have to scramble and see if they can get anything, but with the TP from TYL, they just have to tap, and you see Ninebody, I mean, he can just buy this time. He has nothing to worry about because BLG, they're the ones that have to make the first move now.
A lot of control here, and SWAT9 goes down, and Ninebody's gonna slowly peek out here. He's gonna try and get one. He's been spotted out. He's done a little bit of damage and gets the kill as well. The last 2 members, one of them down to just 13 HP. Russia really struggling to stay alive. They've gathered together as a plant, nowhere close to being put down.
But that being said, the health doesn't look too great for TYL either. A couple of players, 1 or 2 shots. I think he saw Russia there for just a second, but Ninebody doesn't want to peek out. You hear the double TP, and now in a 2v4, they still have to clear so much of sight, and maybe they can get for the plant here, but this time, apart from a couple of kills, I don't really expect BLG to manage to get this round in any way. Unless Russia somehow gets 3! Are you kidding me? And it's all left onto the rookie who doesn't check his left corner.
Doesn't know it.
Just like that. How is that possible? I said, apart from maybe TYL having a huge misplay, and it's the guy who's 1 HP, who I was talking about previously. Russia getting 3 kills in a crucial position from a 2v4 to a 2v1. What madness is this? And it's only been 1 round.
You said it best. Apart from a monumental disaster for TYL, this cannot be winnable for BLG, but that disaster is here and its name is Russia. How does he get 3 on 13 HP and not take any damage at all? What an incredible start for an incredible player, and I'm afraid of that momentum, Mike. That might just carry them through for this half at the very least.
To be fair, it's only round 1, but you're right that you have to feel dejected for your BLG here. But that being said, Scales immediately taken up wisely, and he's trying to push, but slowly already gets the second one. And just like that, 5v2, what is happening? Everything that shouldn't be happening is happening, and everything that should be going right is going wrong. And now, just K-Knight and Levius completely alone. Levius gets taken down, and K-Knight left in 1v4. And surely, Surely this shouldn't be possible, right?
Well, there goes all the momentum that we were just talking about. It's fully gone, and we are in an absolute... We're in a game of glue at this point, because what was that double satchel from YZ? It did not make it all the way through. He just satcheled into a wall and then got completely taken down. And it's 1-1. I have no idea what happened in either of these rounds, to be honest, and my eyes have been glued to it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when we talk about VCTC, and there's always this like, how do you say it? There's je ne sais pas, the one thing, the magic factor, the unknown factor, where you're like, okay, at some point, even if you play this round perfectly, it can just be a blip like that, and you just immediately lose, even if it's against an eco. And that is what we've seen in these last 2 rounds with the 3K from Russia, and now with Slowly and Scales there, helping them get onto, hold the side. And you're right, with the, I mean, the K-Knight just has no chance. He just wants to keep this Guardian.
So he's just gonna save that Guardian.
Yeah, he wants to keep his shields. I mean, that being said, not too many rifles lost, or at least the caliber of the rifles isn't really too high. 2 Spectres, a Bulldog, and the rest of them just Sheriffs. But, I mean, what a statement from TYL. 1-1. Basically the opposite of what we expected at this point. And let's see how it turns out for this 3rd round, because, I mean, it's not going to be a classical bonus. In theory, BLG should have to save here.
Yeah, definitely a frustrating round for the coaches of BLG here as we step into a very weird buy round that I don't think anybody understands fully. And it does seem like it's going to be a B split here. I say split, but it's 4-1. It's mostly through Hookah here. And they're going to be fighting very, very early. This team, we know they're very aggressive. And they're going to be starting to fight here, but it doesn't matter. It's the rookie Yo-Yo. He gets 3. Jumping down from Hookah, and that's all he needs. He doesn't even have to move.
The spacing just looking rough for BLG. One by one they peek out, and against a rookie player like Yo-Yo. I mean, when we talk about rookies in Valorant, it doesn't matter what team, it seems like they always pop off. And just like that, with his 3 kills as well, and just a 4v2, Russia, understandably the one, understandable to be the one that has the gun, but then again, like, why wouldn't you push out with the gun? So I don't know exactly what the thought was there from BLG. That being said, it's now once again a 2v4, a side that we've seen before. And unless Russia can pull a rabbit out of hat, just like in the 1st round, this should be the 2nd one for TYL.
I think Russia sees. I don't know. I think Russia might have seen Scales there, but I think I just looking at the X-ray. I'm not gonna lie, but there does not seem to be a lot of things he can do as he goes down to Sword9 there. What happened there, Miki? It just seems like BLG are not playing together very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of the split going wrong, of having 4 people hookah and then just 1 person long, who then also can just easily get picked off or just blocked by the Vibe Wall. And you can see Yo-Yo here. I mean, it's just the players jumping down and then taking a medium range fight with the frenzies that they had. I'm not 100% sure about that decision, but that being said, I mean, after all that's happened, we're in a pretty normal situation now. TYL up 2-1, the result that we expected from them after going up, after getting 4 kills in the 1st round. But that being said, you can see a bit of a showers push here, but they're ready with the Omen blind. You can see if Ninebody can do anything here.
The 1st round must have been the win, Miki, because nothing crazy happened. We're all back to normal, and Neff getting a quick kill on the Ninebody here. Uh-oh, they are taking a bit too many fights and not winning any of them. Levy is getting a 2nd kill as well, leaving TYL with just 2 people remaining. They're both on the right side here, but...
Yeah, you can see the trap play, the idea of Sword9 using his paranoia to push out. That being said, he slowly wants to push out again, once again, but beautiful dodge from YZ. And this guy, as I said, he doesn't need a judge. Just give him a Vandal and just, even if you flash him, he'll dodge it and then he'll get 2. But that being said, also incredible from Levius getting 2 on B long. But TYL, it was a nice idea, of a simple idea for a trap that could have worked, but like, it's like you only have a couple of seconds to actually do the trap. Because then if you go further, then suddenly you're stuck in showers against 3 people and you have no way out because you're Neon and you're not maybe the Yoro or the Omen. So maybe misplay there, trying to go for the kill. Ninebody on Neon. Obviously, yeah, Neon, maybe you want to go for that. But that being said, and now slowly, as it's 2v2, the money is still looking great for TYL, and slowly decides to go for the Zop. Long.
Could not break that knife in time, and they do get suppressed as a result. It does seem like they're going back towards A, and it's another 4-1 split. They've decided to go with this. Slowly contacting up. They're not really sure, and Ninebot is spotting out.
Now the access is gonna come in, YZ immediately with the nade, and you can see Ninebody is even called out, and McKenny spam it, not quite yet. But what is happening on the other side? Levies, he should be able to kill. Excuse me, K-Knight, wrong fade. And Sword9 even just stuck in the smoke, nothing you can do there. And the first normal side take that we see from BLG with great results.
That's a nice shot from Slowly, but nobody else on this team is quite able to win these duels, especially these 1v1 duels. We saw K-Knight and Ninebody going at it, and Ninebody not coming out on top whatsoever.
And now slowly with the op, I mean, at this point you can see they're already tucking back into their spawn. There's no chance. They want to keep this up, and even then 3v4 against the Brimolds, and I mean, there's probably just no way you get this either way, so you'd rather keep the op
here. I think it's a 3-person save, which is a little bit too many people, I feel, Mike. What do you think? Is it crazy to save with 3 people? Do they just not have enough time, do you think?
Honestly, I think if Slowly had a rifle, they would go for it. Just for either the chance, because they still have good money. I mean, considering they saved 3 guns now, but even the other 2 players could still buy comfortably. So I wonder if there would have been a difference, but it seems like in this case, Slowly's priority is on the op. And I mean, depending on how he shoots, I mean, if he now gets an ace, we're like, obviously, what's the right idea to save, right? So maybe a bit of hindsight Harry there. But now, for the first time, I mean, except for pistol round, BLG are winning with 3-2 scoreline.
If he now gets an ace, is a very big caveat to have for a round. But look at Slowly, he's managed to keep his position here until he's finally pushed out by sheer numbers. His Ninebody gets revealed, but manages to get back on the side, and Slowly just cannot seem to get himself on a nice angle without being pushed off it. And Ninebody, he's able to get one, and Sword9 just pushing out. Brave and rewarded for that bravery as Ninebody gets a 4th kill as well. K-Knight the only one left now.
What?
Hey, how did he get that one? Where did that one come from? He gets 2? Does he get 3? Can he get 3?
Without
He's gonna have to really work for it.
Yeah, this just looks too difficult. Except if Slowly works, K-Knight able to push out just a bit to clear the right corner, but still not out of showers. And against this op, this looks very difficult. You see Slowly just going for a jump spot.
You're being a little scary.
But I mean, with the time,
it's a 3v1. If they lose a 3v1 here, I think it's going to be very difficult to mentally recover from that. And there we go, Sword9 cleaning it up in a nice little position. Not expected by K-Knight.
Yeah, and beautiful retake that you can see there. Even before they planted, Ninebody still, I mean, you can see how BLG used their utility to get Ninebody out of showers, and then Yoru even out of that front line. But you can see with that flash, beautiful Yoru flash there, just flashing everyone on side, and there was just no chance. Beautiful pre-take there, even before they got the spike down. And just like that, TYL cleaned it up, and we're once again tied 3-3.
Yeah, we absolutely are tied again, and that was a round that TYL absolutely had to win. They could not afford to lose it or risk letting BLG run away with the half here. And there's another fight going on, and Yo-Yo has been really good so far in his debut game here.
Oh, the timing for the TP, interesting, but you're completely right. Ryusha there, I don't know. I mean, obviously you don't have solo smoke, so it's not too bad that your Brim dies, but then again, maybe a bit too overeager when it comes to that. Now K-Knight, he hears the flash, he can face it, and he gets Ninebody. The question is, does he know if there's anyone there? He knows, and now look at it, all the attention he's taking with him. A couple of rotates there, even Yo-Yo rotating back to A, but the spike is on B.
Spike is indeed on B, and they're gonna slowly start rotating back to A now. They're walking into a stack of 3 people. B should have been the right call here, but they haven't quite made it here.
I mean, considering Levius got spotted by the Fate Prowler, obviously they're gonna stay here. Another whiff from Slowly, not what you really want to see. A beautiful flash, and they use the Nightfall from both sides. So they have info, or rather not any info, but they heated TP, and now it's all down to Scales, who manages to barely whiff on the first one, just down to 11 HP for YZ, and this plant will go down, and just like that, it's gonna be tough.
A bit of a disgusting gunfight between YZ and Scales here, one that YZ barely manages to come out on top of, but that does get them to side, you're right, and this is going to be a very difficult retake, especially with an op in hand, but that is definitely going to help. Unfortunately, though, Neff has other ideas as well as K9, who just performed the most incredible flank, coming behind and getting rid of that op. All down to Sword 9 here. He has to get two. One of them's in hookah, one of them's on site. Is he going to expect the guy on site? He does, but not really, as Neff takes his head off. And that's a nice little round from BLG. Great mid-rounding.
K9, even you're right, taking away the op from behind. There was absolutely no chance you could have that, see at that flank in any other way. And now, I mean, maybe you're happy that Slowly doesn't have an op now, because so far he just hasn't been hitting. It's quite unfortunate. But that being said, talking about hitting, we have to talk about wait, who was I talking about? I completely forgot. Both players on both sides. I mean, you can see, but I was talking about K9. That being said, a beautiful shot there, and just putting question marks on the map, and then being able to capitalize off of it when Scales dies on B side as well. And you can see the first timeout now being used by TYL as they're down 4-3.
Yeah, and the timeout is coming at a good time. They don't want to be giving up this half, especially on Bind. A somewhat defender-sided map, you don't want to be going, 7-5 when you're the 5. You want to be ahead on this half, and I think TYL really do need to stabilize here a little bit, because they're kind of falling apart, especially on these mid-rounds. Whenever BLG pull out some nice mid-rounding, TYL don't seem to have an answer. But whenever BLG try to force a side, TYL comes out on top. So I think that's probably what's being discussed here in this timeout, and I think it's a necessary timeout, in fact.
Interestingly enough, we have two Buckies coming out from TYL on defense side, both on B side as well. It seems very interesting here. But BLG, now YZ, the one with the op, something that we've also seen a couple of times before in the past. And now, but on attack as well, interestingly. So I wonder if he's maybe going to give up his weapon when it comes to entering side. So a couple of interesting decisions when it comes to the op on attack.
Yeah, this, I mean, he might be able to get one here if Sword 9 feels a little bit antsy and decides to push out and peek to get a little bit more information. He's not gonna live to regret it. He's gonna die and regret it, which is not gonna be great in terms of that. Well, he dies to the Phantom instead of the op, just getting a little antsy, just as I feared he might. They're doing a nice little default here, even with that kill.
But you can see TYL, I mean, that was the only player without a full gun. And now you have 3 shotguns. So you can see they're all they want to hope that they catch them while trying to exec and then hopefully get a multi-frag. But it's going to be difficult, except Scales. Does he spot the first one? Barely he doesn't. But if he shoots, he could get an easy 4 kills. The Viper, wait, the opposing side is going to come down. And now he spots them. He gets the first one, he gets the second one. And finally gets traded out, but now it's a 3v3. And with 9 body on his ult, but he gets spotted by Russia and taken down with the Viper Spit now. Now it's a bit more difficult there, except if Slowly can get here and get the spam. He can! No, he doesn't! Levius gets him! And it's all up to Yo-Yo, who managed to pick up the op from YZ. But against the Viper Spit, I mean, there's probably no worse gun to have.
An absolute fumble again from the side of TYL, being 2 up thanks to, well, an incredibly scary play from Scales, and that's a nice shot from Yo-Yo, getting it on the K9. Unfortunately, there's still a lot he has to do, and the time just keeps ticking away little by little, and he doesn't actually know where both players are. And Levy is going all the way around. He gets the first kill on Russia, though. Hang on a minute. Levius might just have rotated too far, but he has no idea. He just has no idea at all. And he's in the perfect place to prevent the full defuse.
Nice try there from Yo-Yo. Nice try there from Yo-Yo. Even, I mean, you can see even before he started the clutch, he made sure the op wasn't in BLG's reach, just throwing it through the TP, making sure no one can pick it up. And now you can see Scales with the 2K, which, I mean, to be fair, could have been a 4K. But on the other hand, you're happy that you even get 2 there. And now Levius, unfortunately for Yo-Yo with the timing, with the diffuse, just getting caught off guard. And Levius still... Though you can see he's even top fragging on Viper of all agents. It seems like he's just the pillar that TYL can't just quite get through.
The most polite pop-off ever as he stands up and claps for the effort of his opponents. YZ still has the op, and what a shot! He's jump peeking YZ, come on!
Well, it seems like Slowly could maybe learn a few things from YZ when it comes to opping. A beautiful shot there, even on the jump spot of all things. And just like that, it's just clean up. They just 4v5 for TYL, and they need to do something at this point. They're just being so passive, and it feels like if they do nothing, they're just gonna get ran through on site, especially if they enter with 4. I mean, it's a 4v2 on site, what can you do?
What can you do instead? Well, we'll find out what Yo-Yo can do here. That's a nice little reveal that's gonna tell them that there's at least people there, though it won't tell them how many. Yo-Yo's gonna peek out, try to get one. He does actually get one onto K9 through the smoke there. I don't think he saw him at all. He's gonna try and get a few more, and the guy in Hookah, it Scales. He's not gonna get anything. Oh, look
they don't
at
get Yo-Yo!
Yes, just one, unfortunately. He had the opportunity there, and slowly just get a bit of information and comes out in long, but he has a lot to do.
What is that smoke, Rusha? What is that smoke? Shame on you. You're a tier 1 pro player. That being said, it doesn't really matter. Slowly in 1v3, you can see Bogdan's Law, Neff, he picked up the op, and slowly, without any util, has to try to get through this, and even with the knife spotted, I mean, there's this point, maybe you get go for one more, but saving also might not be a bad choice.
Well, does not matter. Neff cleaning up slowly, the last one to die, and it's 3-6. TYL have lost their grip on this half a little bit here. Every time these XX happen, it feels like TYL get the most impactful kill early on, with Yo-Yo getting 2 there on side, but then it all just falls apart if they whiff or they just don't play together well enough.
That being said, it also looks a bit shaky when it comes to BLG. That side hold, like, you knew that Yo-Yo got a kill while spamming and then not checking side, so that could have definitely been dangerous. So also props to Yo-Yo for knowing when to aggress and that he needed to get a kill there. And almost, I mean, he could have turned the round around if he killed Neff, who was, I believe, on 12 HP.
Yeah, it's absolutely very difficult to point fingers at any one player on any of these sides. Everybody's doing well. But TYL just keeps coming on. YZ, another insane shot, ready for the jump peak, but just as prepared for a normal one.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that it doesn't matter where the crosshair is, he's just gonna flick it to your head, slowly, immediately taking out, once again, someone who's maybe been struggling a bit here for these last couple of rounds. And the rest of them, with the slow buy that they have, Scales once again with the judge, maybe hoping to get another 2K there. But you can see BLG, they have time. They're just biding their time. And I mean, look at TYL, they're inside their own heads, now trying to have 3 people on B. And it seems like BLG in this case, they just want to go. And now Ninebody going for the skill with the Stinger, as we know, the best gun in all of Valorant. But Levius gets one back. Now the B side is open as well. And look at Scales. How many can he get here? Place your bets. It's just going to be the one. As Levius takes him down and 3v2, a clean 3v2 on sites. And Yo-Yo, I mean, with the Bucky, you're not gonna get a kill through the smoke this time.
It's gonna be a very difficult retake here of Bucky and a Phantom, and no shields on either of the remaining players of TYL. I think they might just hang out a little bit in CT and try to get some exit frags. Their economy is not looking the best right now. They've lost way too many rounds in a row, so they do get that nice little 2,900 round loss bonus, but it's a lot. They're actually going for it.
Can't really blame them. He whiffs, but Rusha is there to help him. No one can guess past him. Doesn't matter how many op shots you bait out. Rusha is just gonna be there, and with a beautiful 2K, he gets all of the players. And TYL now once again, I mean, their economy is a bit struggling a bit there. I don't know if they even manage to get another buy here. Maybe they just have to go for another save.
Well, I mean, look at that shot. When YZ is hitting op shots like that and Levius has the read that someone's in hookah and everything's going the way of BLG, you can't help but feel like TYL are a bit lost right now. And the scoreline does reflect that as well. 3-7, BLG looking to get an 8th round on the board. I think if they get 8, it's going to be a pretty difficult hill for TYL to climb on the second half here.
And apparently, I also have to learn how to count because TYL has an easy buy. I don't know what happened to my mind there that I didn't manage that. But you can see the KO coming out immediately with the Brimod as well. 9-body getting caught out, but still not a lot of damage. And even getting taken down by Sword9, who gets quickly traded. But Rusha, I mean, slowly, you gotta get off that up. And I mean, YZ apparently as well, because that's a beautiful shot there from Yo-Yo. And now a 3v3 with a down KO, but then again, you don't have any info on 9-body, for example, but he takes him down. That being said, the KO falls as well. It's a 2v2, and no one has any info on the other team. What a shot.
Not a lot that Yo-Yo can do here. Scale's the only one left. Is he gonna... Well, he shouldn't save because the plan is only just going down, and he does have the opportunity to get a nice 2v1 clutch here. He's gonna have to predict Levius here. They both didn't quite predict that they were there. But it's Levius who's able to flick onto Scalesy, and he stands up, he looks around, it's a little bit of a Lysor sand.
Yeah. But shout out to Rusha getting 4 kills there. Even maybe would have had the chance to get the ace, but doesn't matter. Look at him. Just, I mean, on the op it doesn't matter, but then the kill on 9-body and the one on Yo-Yo. I mean, and with Levius cleaning it up, 8-3. This is looking so dominant, especially after the let's say the table tennis that we had in the beginning, back and forth, eco, and then now 5 rounds in a row for BLG. What a statement.
Yeah, these spy rounds have been very one-sided on the side of BLG. Yeah, they look shaky, but somehow it's never a 1v1 clutch. It's always multiple people left alive for BLG when these rounds end, and TYL needs to be getting these early picks, and it's not like that because YZ is way too fast at those pre-fired shots.
You can't really blame Yo-Yo there. Top fragging on his team as the newcomer. But, I mean, holding that pixel angle and immediately gets decimated. And you can see now the Viper split being used to on A, at least for some kind of retaliation. And they even try to push into hookah because the rest of them are long. Understandable, but once again, I mean, with all of BLG on B, this looks like it's going to be a pretty easy side take.
It should be here, but look. I mean, look, there's 2 people in hookah. One of them just TP'd into backside, and they're both in backside. Nobody's in hookah, so it's still gonna be possible for TYL to hold this, but they need to get multi-kills here. They need to get way more than 1. That's a good start, though. Unfortunately, YZ is way too good at everything he touches because he's just killed 2.
Call him King Midas because everything he touches turns to gold. I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say that? 9-body immediately gets 1 and maybe even get the second one. And it's just down to 1v1 between Neff and Scales. But Neff holds side down. And just like that, BLG cannot be stopped. It's a 9-3 half, 6 rounds in a row. I mean, TYL just scrambling at this point, and maybe, yeah, you get the reset on the half, but it's just looking, oh, what a beautiful shot from YZ. It's looking tough out there for TYL.
Everybody on the side of BLG are popping off. Look at Neff, a kill and then a 180 turn and another perfect headshot onto hookah, perfectly aware of where every member of TYL remaining is standing. And there's a little bit of a timeout here. Or is it a tech pause? No, it's halftime. That's right. 9-3, of course.
So while I have a minute, I just want to talk about that fade ult there from BLG because, I mean, this was a bit unlucky, let's be honest, because as you said, there were 2 players hookah, and then the fade ult was meant for like elbow and like half off side. But so it wouldn't have spotted anything if both TYL players would have stayed in hookah. But one decided to TP onto side, which was the Omen, and then slowly decided to TP into elbow just as they used the fade ult. So both of them spotted out. I wonder, I mean, it probably wouldn't have made the difference, but still interesting to see how, I mean, also TYL, just a couple of unlucky things happening to them. Just both of these players getting spotted out by the fade ult then there. But you're right. I mean, at this point, 9-3, they have to somehow find a reset. As we see the fans here deciding between Vandal and Phantom, what would your choice be, Cats?
Oh, it's always Phantom. I love the Phantom. I'm a big Phantom propaganda pusher. I push the Phantom agenda. Phantom is so good, especially after they buffed it, and now that it does like 145 from long range as well. It's so good. I don't think I've bought a Vandal in like 3 months.
Honestly, I agree with you, but I have a much more simple reason is that I have the game sense of an Iron player with the aim of FNS. So unless I have a Phantom that I can spray through smokes, I just cannot get a single kill. As we get onto the second half, now it's TYL on attack. What can they do here? Interestingly, I have BLG going for a couple of frenzies here, a gun that we haven't seen used for a lot of time. Finally, after the buff, so it gets 15 bullets, maybe a bit more. And now an aggressive push here from BLG for YZ, interestingly.
Yeah, and we...
Oh, the timing. But a quick trade from Levius.
That's all that the 9body was able to get there. And just looking at the stats a little bit on that half, we can see that Russia, again, is popping off for this BLG side here, doing a lot of work as he slowly quite find a shot there. He takes a little bit of chip damage, does a little bit of chip damage, and that's all he's going to be given. Actually, he didn't do any damage.
No shots found in that case, and you can see. But now look at BLG's push out. They get so much info. Rusha and K-Knights might even surprise them from behind. The question is TYL. They probably have to speed up at this point. Ooh. And now with Levius even being spotted out, finally a shot hit from Slowly there. And now they speed up. Now the question is what happens with the flank. Neff gets taken down, but look at the two behind. Levius immediately taken down Scales. Just 3 left on site. But look at Sword. I mean, he's happy if he gets 1, but it's a quick trade. And left in the 2v2. Oh, he does slowly. It's not looking good for him. Levius with the 3k when it's after 1v1. And Yo-Yo, the newcomer. I mean, what a statement from Yo-Yo. I mean, I know they're losing 4-9, but still 13-10. You can see even adjusting his seat was like, okay, let me make sure I whiffed so much. It's not my fault. It's probably just the seat on the wrong position, something like that.
Look, the 9-3 is there for the side of TYL here. If you're superstitious, then you can rely on that. But if you're not superstitious, maybe you can still rely on Yo-Yo, because this guy is still top fragging across the game. Well, not across the game, but at least for the side of TYL. Even though it's his first proper stage up tier 1 game. That's a really bad start for 9body here. He's run out of all of his lives. He might have 9 of them, but they're all gone.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about him? Obviously, YZ, a player that is known to be very smart when it comes to knowing when to take his 1v1s, and just like that, Rusha even taking out the first. Then Scales, a nice shot on the second one as well. What just happened? Just like that, with a ghost of all weapons, and the guns dropped. Now Neff, just with the classic, there's just no chance.
A bit of a pea shooter because it does nothing, but never mind, I'm sorry, the peas hit hard. They're very fast moving peas. He's gotten 1, he picks up a ghost, he gets a second one. Oh, it's a 1v1. It's a 1v2, Sword 9's the only one left.
Nice CP onto Heaven. I don't think that K-Knight heard this. Maybe this should be an easy kill, but no, he still goes behind. And I mean, what can you say? At this point, I feel like with some of these players, it doesn't matter if they have a classic or an Odin or a Phantom. They just can get a 2k from anywhere and just immediately flip the round. And it's once again another eco won from BLG and unfortunately lost for TYL. And I can imagine at this point they're feeling dejected. Maybe the second time out coming as soon at this point.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of the first half where BLG somehow won the pistol and then TYL ecoed. Now, TYL somehow scrapes together a pistol and then BLG ecoed them right back. And now, I mean, they don't really have the guns to be fighting early on, but they kind of have to nonetheless.
You're right, and look at the spy. I mean, 9body on attack with a Marshal and then no shields, and the rest of them are just on Sheriff. I mean, maybe he gets this, but no. I mean, it's Slowly we're talking about. He's just having a rough game right now, and with Neff feeling it after those couple of rounds before, I can't blame him. But once again, TYL in a 4v5. We've seen this so many times, and it seems like no matter what they do, they just cannot win a round.
They just cannot, and they've really slowed it down here. They're waiting for BLG to make their first move because they're desperate for them to make a mistake and for them to be able to pick up a gun as a result of that. But unfortunately, BLG are playing uncharacteristically calm and controlled here. Not something you see very often from BLG. Oh, he spotted a head. He spotted a tiny little head there. Is that going to be enough for him to get a kill? No, but Neff does get one. YZ gets one as well. And Levius, there's a lot of damage on Sword 9.
I mean, we could talk about the Levius whiff, but he didn't even take a lick of damage. So Sword 9 whiffed just as much, if not even more, considering he was nearsighted. But that being said, a clean round from BLG. I mean, once again, TYL just... I mean, they have to scramble at some point to try to get anything out of that round. And BLG just stops them, says, no, you just won't get on site, and completely dismantling the pistols on the enemy side.
I just want you to bring your attention a little bit here, Mike, to the fact that this is actually TYL's map pick. So losing 4-11 and maybe even 5-13 or 6-13 would be devastating for them heading into Lotus, not just in terms of likelihood of winning 2 maps to win this series, but also just in mental. Oh.
Jump spot's not quite working out there for 9, buddy. I mean, he's seen what YZ has done and tried to copy it. Unfortunately, not with the same results. Even trying to look over the smoke. But, I mean, I don't know why, since Yo-Yo is in front of the smoke, but at this point, it doesn't even matter. Yo-Yo going for a bit of a prowler, just a bit of info, catching out 1, and the rest of the players are just freezing. They're holding for a push, and at this point, they have to bide their time. They cannot go on site in the 3v3. They need to wait for the other players, or maybe just going for a fake here. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, they're still waiting a bit patiently, and Neff might just be giving away himself here, but he doesn't actually, because Scale spots him, doesn't quite hit the shot, so he backs completely off. And look at the amount of space that BLG actually have control over, and how little TYL have control over. It's not looking great in terms of an exec here.
Yeah, you see 4 players funneling into long here. That eye is gonna get a lot of info, gets broken, but maybe that's even the start of the exec. You can see the one eye coming out from the other side, but now even with the C's, can they even push out of that? It's a beautiful clone, but it doesn't even matter. K-Not getting one, but it's a quick trade. Rusha doesn't get anything, and everyone just dies? Hello?
Somehow?
Did Thanos just snap, or why did everyone just completely fall? Levius left in a 1v4, and blink and you miss it. I mean, at this point, I cannot even blame Levius. He's like, guys, what happened? Why am I suddenly the only one alive?
It happens all the time in our rank games too. You know, you're hanging out at a different side, they exec and everybody's dead, and it's just like, am I supposed to retake this? What happened? I thought we were holding. What happened?
Yeah, typical Cypher player behavior.
Yeah.
Just on the other side with your setup, and they rush the other side, and you're like, well, nothing I can do. And in this case, it will be nothing that he can do for Levius, and it will be a 5th round. That being said, it's one of many rounds that TYL have to get in order to make this somewhat competitive.
Yeah, I mean, this gap is so big that even with this 5th round on the board, they're still 6 full rounds behind, just equalizing, just tying up the game. They have to get 2 more after that to win this, or at least 1 more to guarantee take it over time. For now, though, I think they're gonna be very happy with this and make. Okay, hang on a minute. How did 9body do that? That's an interesting mechanic, Riot. Thank you for that. But fun to watch nonetheless.
Yeah, but you can see the players on site trading each other and helping each other, and then with Scales just waiting for the TP, he gets the easiest kill of his life. And now, as we said, a bit of momentum, 1 more round. Now maybe they can capitalize off of it. Nightfall immediately coming out.
Oh! What an insane shot from Rusia. Pushed off with the Nightfall and the Prowler, but still managing to take the head off of Slowly there. Slowly again, not really having the best game, but when you're dying like that, you can't even blame him.
5 and 13, almost triple negative. That has to feel bad. But for TYL, these fast pushes just don't work. You have to wait. You have to play with the retakes. And K-Knights could have gotten 2 there, but at least it's just 1. That being said, numbers advantage still for BLG. You can see the rotates coming in, and even Levius maybe going for a bit of info on A. They know that there's no one on A. Now, look at the solid side take. All the players playing off of each other. And if TYL wants to go through here, it's gonna be very difficult.
It's gonna be damn near impossible. Look at the amount of space that Levius has taken as well. If TYL decide to rotate at this point, Levius is gonna be able to tell his team immediately that they're moving away. But it does seem like TYL are looking to do exactly that. And oh, 9 body.
But look at Levius.
Look at the patience.
Yeah, easiest kill of his life once again. And now the plant coming down, but in a 2v4, surely with a couple of spams. Neff, what are you doing? But I don't think it really doesn't matter because YZ is there to clean it up. And it's match point for BLG. Yeah, that's exactly what, I mean, that's why YZ is so good. That's the reason why he's been in tier 1 for, I mean, now more than like almost 3 years. I mean, considering his, I think his first global was Champs 2023, I believe. So he's been here for quite a while, and you can see he's not about to stop. I mean, and now 12-5. TYL, what can you do? You have to try to do something, and look at the buy. Even Yo-Yo just has to go for the stinger. And considering he's top frag, I don't know why you give your top frag a stinger, but fair enough.
I mean, I guess he's just not. I think he just wants to go really, really fast, and I think that's the only time they actually won here after the piss-off. That's the only time they won a gun round on attack by going really, really fast. I think they're just trying to emulate that here, and it's not quite working because they've been separated by mollies and by smokes and all sorts of things. Sword 9 though, nice little ult to get back there.
Yeah, but with From the Shadows on B and even with the gun kill, I mean, that should be a complete go to get onto B side. The question is, what can Rusha do here? Maybe he can get something in hookah. He's trying to disrupt some of the side take. The one question is, what can he do at this point? He peeks out, but immediately gets taken out. And just like that, in a 4v2, why is he even taking the TP? Almost gets caught out with utility, but he still has the showstopper to try to salvage this round or maybe get something here. Doesn't even need it for the first one. He gets it for the second one. It's just now 2v2. Down to 28 HP. With the 3k as well. And Neff on the other side. Neff, the first one that has to do something here, but he is smoked off. Does he even find Sword 9 here? He does! And it's down to the rookie, down to the top fragger in this team, even gets spotted out by the knife. What can he do with the flash from behind? Controller spot in the first one, but that is it. 5-13, what a statement from BLG. I mean, Yo-Yo looking great. But unfortunately, maybe the rest of his team not quite on his side, especially slowly struggling a bit there. But BLG looking great, looking solid, especially on the defense side. And if they carry this momentum to Lotus, which is their map pick, as you said, I mean, this could just be a quick 2-0.
It should, I think, be a quick 2-0 because, I mean, that last round was a perfect example of why BLG looks so good. They work so well together. You could see after, by the way, some beautiful ballerina-esque movement from YZ twirling in the sky as he lets loose that showstopper to get a kill in hookah. You can see the patience that they have waiting to try and peek together. Even after flashing, he doesn't rush it. And that's, I think, the big difference between BLG and TYL, especially in this second half. It's how controlled BLG are and how quickly TYL seem to lose that synergy that they have when the round starts.
I mean, in the start, it was maybe a bit competitive. You could see the ideas from TYL, but in the end, I mean, you're right. The one round that they won, they were just technically just completely rushing. The difference is, first up, they had a kill before that, which obviously always helps you in a big way. But also, they managed to manipulate the rotates in the sense that they had a 4v2 on site. The problem is, if you rush from the beginning of the round, you might just have a 5v3 on site. And if those 3 people are called YZ, Rusha, and Levius, I mean, there's just no chance. Like, you just can't do anything. And I mean, BLG only letting 5 rounds slip That is a big statement there from this team.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that they've lost their own map pick, TYL have a mountain to be to climb here next on Lotus. But before we get onto that, we're gonna take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're gonna keep going, and hopefully TYL take us right to map.
But before then, we want to listen to the comms here. Let's listen to BLG.
有点闪的，闪光，对一下，屁股小心啊！踢了吗？我听不到。左边左边，多一个包里后，包里后，包里别急我，包里后，包里后，包里后，包里后一个，包里后多一个。霓虹左边，左边 CT 烟里 CT。能下烟吗？找浴室一个，包里后一个。CT 我打，CT 包里两个退了，包里两个退了，然后浴室一个。他去2楼了，等我一下可以吗？别急别急别急，等会浴室一个。 浴室的，你可以来 B 吗？可以，你突破可以进去。啊，浴室的是费德，浴室费德，对对对，浴室是费德。小人吹小，等会儿，我下一小，我下一个。是2楼是我们的，你们下8然后8。下一个浴室过来后，浴室下背后。我家浴室那边。可以下包，再往后的包。我去。下黑屋，下一小，黄亮点。还有点黑屋，别管我可以吗？别管我。哦，不管你了，OK， 我不管你了。2楼吧。他下了。nice。
Lotus
Welcome back to day 2 of VCT China, where Billy Gaming are up against TYL. And TYL, even though it was their map pick, they did lose by 13-5, a bit of a dominant win for BLG. But now we're heading into Lotus. What are we thinking about Lotus for these two teams, Mike?
I mean, it's an interesting storyline that we have to talk about, because for BLG, the ones who picked this map, the last 4 times that they played it, they got completely stomped on. So they haven't won this map, I think, since like 2024. So, and they picked it. And then on the other side, you have TYL, who've only played it once, but completely stomped the last time that they played it, which was in their last match against Wolves Esports, who then went on to Toronto and then managed to get 3rd place. So on the one hand, you have one team that has played it a lot, but has also lost it a lot. And then on the other hand, you have one team that only played it once, but then completely won it in dominant fashion. So I don't know what the thought is behind the pick here for BLG. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, there's got to be some thought behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, TYL have only really played this map one time this entire year, since like October of last year, against Wolves. Against, I should say, Wolves that hadn't quite begun their run. This was before the Wolves team really came into shape and came into form and absolutely went crazy in both the playoffs, where they got 3rd place, and also obviously Toronto, where again, to everybody's shock except for maybe TMV's, they got 3rd place again. But you know, that's a different Wolves, and also that's a TYL that had ZJC, who was Alphabet Man before, as you know. So this might still be a map that is really, really good for Billy Gaming. And again, it's a great map for YZ's judging antics.
Exactly. And when we have to talk about BLG, I mean, the last time that they played were before the Teo buff. So they were just constantly playing Teo. So I think what I believe has happened is that BLG is like, okay, we have cooked on this map after the Teo nerf, after the Teo nerf, and now we're going to show you something new. And with that new thing, we're so confident that we can beat TYL that we're going to pick that map. That's the only way that I see BLG picking that map, because I mean, otherwise it just wouldn't make sense. But so that's what I assumed was happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I love Lotus. You know, I live here. This is my home. I love Lotus. I love it so much. It's great. You got fresh fruits and stuff here. But more importantly than any of those other things, it's got 3 sites and doors that you can play so many mind games with. This, to me, is one of the most cerebral maps in Valorant, besides maybe Fracture, because that's a very weird map to play. But you know, Lotus is always so fun to watch in an analyst perspective, because of how many things can happen across the map. All the lurks, all the rotates, all the pressure, all the map control. It's going to be a really fun game. And Billy are known for just diving, and that's also going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, Lotus is a very cerebral map. That's why teams like Fnatic have seen so much success on it. And now TYL, they are vigored. They want to go for this push here. And it seems like, okay, a bit of aiming and control, but no retaliation for BLG at this point.
They've just taken all of A main here. Usually something that teams love to take on defense here. They've just given up for TYL to take all control, and K-Knight might be able to win this fight. He needs to spot him out first, but it's 9 body that comes out on top instead.
Now even the wall baited out. It seems like they want to go for this push though. The question is, do they know that there's someone on the left? They don't. And just like that, 3 players fall. You had so much control, TYL, and you completely gave it up. And with 3 players falling in a 2v3, yes, Sword 9 is quite in a good position, and maybe 9body can go for the door here. But that being said, look at YZ even on the flank. I mean, there should just not be any way. Rusha, never mind. Sword 9 gets the kill. And now, but Levius, what a right click from a free gun, by the way. And Sword 9 left in a 1v3.
I know Rusha got 2, but this was a Levius round through and through. What a perfect flash into trees to catch the people entering through doors. And then a crazy right click. Playing around doors, playing with the doors, and putting his team on his back for this round.
9, no util, 1 smoke coming up right now. But in a 1v3, you see he's just looking to see if he can get a pick. And BLG doing what they have to do, the correct way to play this, which is just group up. And at some point, assuming Sword wants to win this round, or at least do some damage, he has to go for the tap. And now exactly, I mean, with the flash, with the paranoia coming out, and YZ ready there with the headshot, no chance. And once again, just standing up, doing his best Lysol impression. That's why we love you. That's why you're the GOAT. But what a pistol round. I mean, great flash from BLG. But once again, I'm a bit disappointed in TYL. They had such a great play in the beginning. They killed the B anchor. They had full aiming control. They baited out the Vice wall. And it seems like everything was going great for them. And then, unfortunately, they went into a trap play and BLG capitalized on it. And once again, it's going to be another pistol for BLG.
It truly has been the story of this game where TYL seems to start out these rounds really well. Fresh ideas, good first kills, then just not quite able to convert that into actual round wins here, as BLG are just seemingly much better at the mid-round, at least on Bind and the one round we've seen so far on Lotus.
Slowly picking up that old orb and even has a sheriff here. He wants to go for the confidence play. A couple of other teammates have also the sheriff, but you can see K-Knight very aware of this. Don't know if he spotted out anything, but at this time it seems like that he's just gonna wait. The problem is he's alone. So if he gets caught out, that could be a free gun. What a shot from 9buddy. 145 to the dome, taking a bit of damage on his side as well. When YZ with the ghost is the only one that technically can push out here. And even still get spotted here. He's not sure if he wants to go for this, but now flashed out. They should be ready, but a bit of damage onto Yo-Yo.
A little spray before going right back into a fight here, and he's not quite getting the shots to land, especially with a weaker buy compared to the rest of his team. Unfortunately for 9buddy though, he does still come out on top as Levius starts to clean up here on the mound side.
Together with Nev, they get slowly and it's just down to Scales and Yo-Yo being 1 HP, and he wants to go. I thought he would go for the knife, but with the stinger, I mean, if he's one shot, it doesn't matter if you want to go for the jump. And Scales, a beautiful one shot there into Nev, but it won't be enough. And I mean, I would just want to talk about YZ. The fact that he has a ghost and then he takes some pot shots and then he's like, no, I'm going to back off, but I'm going to throw my boombot. Wait, no, my boombot saw something. I'm going to go further. Wait, no, I got flashed. I'm going to go back. Wait, no, I'm going to go further in. So it's always like this play of like, am I going to peek you? Am I not going to peek you? And just playing with his food there. And he knows with a ghost, I mean, it doesn't matter if he dies, okay? But the fact that he got so much damage, even if he didn't get a kill, and then he knew, okay, that there's no way that they're going to come B. And with one person in a ghost just completely holding it outside, that's a sign of confidence. Talk about confidence. And look at YZ once again.
Talk about confidence is right. He knows he TP'd, but he's not quite sure if he wants to peek it just like that, because the rest of TYL are on the other side of this. It is a nice little double peek, and they're probably just going to wait out this one way either way. He's not going to expect this. Oh my god, what a shot from YZ. Slowly picked out mid-satchel. He does get traded out, but it's a difficult trade to justify.
And it's a one tap onto slowly, a beautiful headshot there, but now obviously another 140 damage onto Sword 9, who's just down to 10 HP. And you can see once again the confidence of Nev on the flank, just completely pushing that, and now they know that it has to be A. It doesn't matter if you get the wall down, and now Nev even may be able to TP on top of the wall. I don't think he did, I think he popped it, but it doesn't matter. Look at there.
Russia.
Yeah, but like BLG is so aware, and BLG even spotted the first one going to B.
Russia doesn't know one's in rubble. The guy in rubble doesn't know Russia's in orbit. Everybody's lost. And it's Nev that actually gets a kill, and Russia gets 2 somehow. They've let him slip the net, and he's bitten them completely off guard.
Yeah, and Scales suddenly behind them. The spike is getting diffused, and he's like, wait, what? How is that even possible? And I mean, at this point, I know it's only been three rounds, but that was their bonus. And it somehow feels like BLG know what TYL are going to do before TYL know it themselves. I mean, you can see the confidence of all their pushes. In this case, this aggressive push where he gets, well, technically 1.5. And the rest of it is just cleanup. With the flank, they're just going to get pinched on side. And there was just no chance from the beginning.
You can just tell the people on side, the person planting and the person defending the plant, had no idea that Rusia had completely evaded detection all the way into Hobbit and get completely caught off guard here. And now they're, TYL are going for a bit of an A rush here with only one person towards C. And oh my god, look at K9. Look at the amount of map control that BLG keep taking round after round after round.
If I may quote a great philosopher, that's the spike! And it doesn't even matter. You can see the cleanup on all sides. Scale's the only one with the rifle here. And it doesn't even matter. Oh, never mind, he gets one, but that will probably be everything that he gets as K9 takes him down. And once again, look at this mid push. Look at the confidence that they have. And they're like, okay, doesn't matter if there are 5 people there. We're still gonna win this. And with the one getting caught out there, with the spike as well, I mean, once again, it seems like the round was over before it's
Lotus with 3 sides, or even Haven where it's 3 sides, just the same. You're never going to be able to rotate, especially against an aggressive team like Bilibili Gaming, who will take that space when offered it to them.
Exactly, and you can see, I mean, you can see the idea of them splitting up. You can see the Vice there going onto C side, maybe trying to break the flash or giving a bit of info, maybe even getting caught by the flash on purpose, just to give some fake info there. But it seems like they're just not capitalizing off of that info. Or even if they break the Vice flash, I feel like, the Vice wall on A, it feels like they only do that when they already have 4 people A and when they're just about to get into A. So it's like, maybe they should be playing a bit more with the BLG's expectations here, because TYL is just, I mean, they're just punching a wall and just hurting their hands. It feels like it's so tough for them.
It does. I mean, the scoreline absolutely reflects that it has been so tough for TYL, and they're doing a much better default this round, though. They're doing 2-2-1, which is a lot better in terms of taking control. But look at BLG. Look at this amount of space that they're taking. Neff still gets one. K9 gets one as well, and Rusia on the B side getting one of his own. TYL cannot be winning these. TYL just cannot win any of these duels. And BLG cannot be winning these duels, but they do.
I mean, you gotta feel bad for TYL. It feels like, okay, let's hold for pushes, and they get dominated and don't have any chance. They are like, okay, let's push this, and suddenly it's just the spot where BLG also push out, and then they also get decimated. So at this point, it doesn't matter what they do. And it seems like they're out of the strat book, even only after 5 rounds. Yo-Yo, once again, who's been looking great on the first map, on the bind that we saw before, and now struggling. Only, 0 kills, together with Slowly, which as the duelist is the one that you expect to be getting all the kills. So, I mean, they're also definitely having a very tough time. Scale's trying to do something at this point, but no chance. And Yo-Yo has to tuck in his legs and just try to get away here, which I don't think he will, considering how far they're pushing him.
There's something very comical about Scales throwing one Viper spit and then just running into 2 people. But unfortunately, it's not going to be very comical for the side of TYL, as Rusia once again there's a little bit of a Lysor stand. I mean, if I'm getting Lysor standard at 5-0 down, I would tilt. I think I would tilt.
I mean, that's the reason you do it, right? There's apart from the aim, the game sense, or whatever, the strats, there's always a mental game that you have to talk about. And with TYL, considering the tough time that they had on stage 1, they only got their 1 win in their last match, which was against DRG. So, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's also tough mentally to go ahead and be like, okay, we just have to try our best, even if you're down 1-0 and 5-0 in this map.
That said, it does seem like they did talk about the whole 4-1 split versus 2-2-1 split in that timeout, because now they keep doing it round after round, and look at how much more space they're actually able to get when they do it. Now this actually is an exec that might go their way if they do it well and with the right util.
But once again, they trip the wall, but only when there's 4 people on C. So now if they want to go somewhere else, they have to spend so much time. And in the meantime, you can see the Fade Prowler from K-Knight. I mean, he gets info on B. And then Neff, who once again has pushed out on A. They have full info on the entire map, basically.
I don't think Neff saw it.
Nope, not yet.
He definitely did. Oh, he just sent it out. He gets blinded in return, and he can get out of there. But you're right. They just gave up that space just as soon as they took it.
But BLG just not moving at all and slowly wants to push in, but he's completely alone. What can he do? The answer is absolutely nothing. I mean, and once again, TYL, they are just locked offside. And now with the Razor Vice even on B with 13 seconds, they have to try to run into here. But running against 4 Phantoms and a Vandal, it's easier said than done. YZ, okay, fair enough. Yo-Yo, once again, his first kill, getting with the Stinger. But with 0 seconds, we have to peek here because they haven't planted a spike to get the rest of the money. But that money is going to go to feeding YZ and his ult. A 3K from him in that round. And 6-0. What a statement from BLG.
It just seems like TYL are far too impatient on their attack. And yes, the clock gets run down to just 10 seconds remaining before they exec. But mid-rounding, they're impatient. They take space and then they give it up just as soon as they take it, just because they want to go somewhere else. And then they go somewhere else. And then they go somewhere else. It's not enough control. They're just perpetually rotating. And then the clock runs out.
They use the showstopper to get onto B, but it's still a fake. The question is what can slowly go do on this fake here? And the answer is nothing. Getting race diffed from YZ with his showstopper. And I mean, they haven't done anything on the other side. At least it's 1 kill for K-Knight. And now the A side is free. If they manage to capitalize on it on these next couple of seconds, they could get this plant down. Something which they haven't managed to do this round yet. This game, excuse me.
It's an interesting idea, but I can't imagine that it works, but it actually does seem like it's going to. I had to eat my words mid-sentence there. As a kill coming through, and Yo-Yo has a really nice angle here to watch for people coming through Hobbit, which is 2 full bodies. Uh-oh. There he is. He gets 1 onto YZ. He still has 1 more to go. Does he expect it? Doesn't matter. He's still holding the angle. And look at Nev. He gets 2. It's a 1v2 still, though.
Doesn't matter how much he gets, this is just a point of confidence. You want to take the guns away, maybe even force him to come here. Will get spotted down by the Prowler and is down to 1 HP. Now the Snake Eyes as well here is forced to peek. And Yo-Yo with the 3K. Finally, the one player from the first map that we wanted to turn on his monitor finally does so and gets a 3K. And you're right, this round finally worked, but let's be honest, it didn't work because of the showstopper play in B. It worked because they got a kill on A. And all the players that maybe had rotated to B because of the showstopper, you could say that, yeah, okay, fair enough, but it feels like the plays are still somewhat one-dimensional from TYL. That being said, first round, you gotta start somewhere. And this is a great way to start.
It's better than 7-0, I'll tell you that much. But we might be heading for a Brazil scoreline here of 7-1. But either way, like you said, I don't know if that round is something that you can replicate consistently. Because it was a very insane sacrificial play by slowly using that ult on B and just being ready to completely die while giving his team the opportunity to go A. And this time, they've gone back. They've gone back to their 4-1. It seems like this is what they're most comfortable with for whatever reason.
With a Viper's Pit on B as well, it seems like B is completely on lockdown. So the question is, on what extremity do you want to go? Seems like so far, I mean, this is the split that I was talking about that they maybe should do more. Under YZ, once again, I mean, he is just no fear in his eyes whatsoever. Grouping up with his teammates, even K-Knight, who is basically one shot. And you can see the damage onto scales. 140 from the Phantom, you hate to see it if you're BLG, but it doesn't even really matter. And Neff is still on the C side, and he can still hold it down his own while YZ pushes down. Finally gets taken down by Sword9. Didn't expect another one to be there. And now A side, finally a bit of a gap there. The question is, can TYL even do anything with this?
Seems like they've chosen not to, instead electing to hit C side with that ulti. And oh, look at Neff, he's completely blinded, he's completely caught off guard. Rusha does manage to get 1, he gets 2! How does he keep getting multi-kills on side? He's the only one here!
Look, behind! They don't expect him! Rusha gets his 3rd for the round, and it's just left him too slowly. The one who's been struggling so much with 4 bullets is not enough to kill the Prowler, and he just has to face his fears alone while blinded. Scales, after getting 140 from Phantom, just has no chance.
Crucial channeling Prime Spring at this point, because you know that's the new incredible Viper player in VCT, and he is absolutely channeling Spring here, getting multiple kills on these sites by himself. This is a nice play from TYL here to go in to see with that ult, but unfortunately it's Rusia who gets that first kill, and then the rest of TYL a little bit unable to handle that multi-pronged pressure.
7-1 scoreline, the one we're so familiar with. Shout out to Germany after that wonderful game. But now it's Valorant we're talking about, not soccer. And TYL scrambling. They have to do something with this halftime. And now it's up to the new coach, as we said, just joined TYL a couple of weeks ago. And he has to somehow turn these rounds into magic, which at this point against a team like Bilibili Gaming just seems too tall of a task.
It is a massive mountain left to climb for TYL. 7-1, if they can at least get themselves to an 8-4 half, I think they're going to be a little bit happy about how this actually ended up, because they started out again at 5-0. So the fact that they've even gotten one is actually a little bit surprising, which is crazy to say, to be honest, but that is a situation that we find ourselves in, and they're going to be looking to get at least 2, 3 more, 4 more, maybe. Seems a bit crazy.
They have the Viper's Pit on the side of TYL. The problem is with the Viper's Pit is you have to use it after you get to site, which is just the difficulty that TYL has had so far. So yeah, if you get to site, I mean, do it first, and then we can talk about the Viper's Pit. Once again, a B push, but look at 4 players here for BLG.
It's 4-1!
And with the info from A and device wall on C, they have completely locked down every site and slowly doesn't even want to go to B anymore. Not only because of all the YouTube, but because of all the players there. And you can see TYL scrambling. Okay, they get the wall. This is what I wanted to do. They get the info, they get the wall. And maybe a couple of rotates there, but they're still chilling. They still have a couple of players in B, a couple of players in C. Maybe this A re-clear seems like they want to go for this. The question is how... Yeah, but how difficult will that be against a player like Neff on top of that wall?
It's not just Neff. YZ is... Well, he just left. Okay, my bad. Sorry, YZ. Goodbye. See you later, buddy. Oh, he spots them out. He's going to get out of there. He's going to tell his team they can fight this, and YZ just made his way back here.
Knight focus on that B side, now trying to help his teammate. Maybe a bit something opened up for 9body there, but slowly once again caught off guard. Never mind, his team managed to get the spray, but now K-Knight and Neff just comes from behind and he gets 3. A beautiful spray down. Levius getting the last one as well, and once again BLG just on top of things. 8-1. What a scoreline, what a statement from BLG. They're just not backing down.
I have to wonder why they insist on this 4-1 split on a 3-side map. It hasn't worked for them, and it isn't working for them now. And they did change it up a little bit, and they couldn't make it work even with the 2-1 split. And I fear that they've tried it 2 times and it didn't work, and they've just gone back to their comfort of 4-1. But I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to get more than 1 more round on this half if they keep insisting that this is how they want to play. This time, though, they have gone for that 2-1 split again. And look at 3 people of BLG sitting pretty on a rubble.
Nice, once again, the Vice Wall baited. That is something that they managed to do for TYL. That's always great info. But now look at Scales. I mean, in a 1v2, surely just flash. And even with the molly, just run through it. And it's the easiest kill of your life for YZ. I meant YZ. I was never talking about Nev. Scales trading himself out, basically. And now the rest of the players grouping up on C. And Levius, beautiful shot from Sword 9 there. And finally, they have taken sight. It's a 4v2. Now you can use... Well, you cannot use the Viper's Pit since Scales is not alive anymore. But now in a 3v1, even with a couple of players that are low, I don't think he can manage to do this. He won't. Yo-Yo there to help his team. And it will be their 2nd round.
And an absolutely vital round for TYL to pick up here. And it was done off the back of that 2-2-1 with Scales getting not just a kill, but actually information that there's at least one more person in A main in the form of YZ, and then Ninebody getting a very, very important kill here onto YZ at B, further creating confusion on the side of BLG. Incredibly important, and there's Neff trying to figure out where everything went wrong for him.
But still, it's 8-2, as dominant as it could be. YZ spots down one, has to back out of this angle. Couple of pot shots here and there, but nothing so far. And they have that A rubble control, the A main control. And Ninebody once again wants to go for that play this time. There's someone helping him there. Rusha trading his teammate, and it's a 4-4. And look at Levius once again, just the confidence to go on this flank and then just have the full info that they cannot be seen.
Oh no, Scales, you can't be whiffing that, Scales. You absolutely cannot be whiffing that when you're down 8-2. Unfortunately though, he does. And it's YZ that comes out on top. He does have just 1 HP and he might die to the nade. He does, and he gets out just in time. And slowly taking side control here, but he might not expect YZ to still be here. It doesn't matter, he sticks to him, gets a body shot, that's all it takes. The showstopper coming out. There's a guy in heaven, he needs to send it out, he needs to predictively send it out. It doesn't quite hit.
Not
no damage done at all.
But in the 3v3, you can see the smoke off. Immediately, it seems like it will be down to slowly, but he is smoked off. It doesn't even matter. They don't check him, and that will be their first and last mistake. This is the slowly that we wanted to see. This is the slowly that we're talking about. And Levius with 10 bullets and 3 people only managed to get the one. And 8-3, considering it was 6-0 at one point. If they manage to get this to 8-4, I mean, suddenly, I don't want to say the tides have turned, but it's looking way better for TYL.
No, 8-4 is the range of score that you would start to maybe believe that TYL could pull this off. Any less, I mean, look, 9-3 curse and all, whatever, but 8-4 is really where you could maybe start to believe if you really are a TYL fan. But I mean, that was a slowly down through and through. He did incredible, especially that second and third kill, getting nice headshots onto 2 members that were trying to retake. A little bit of a janky retake from BLG, but nonetheless, that is one that TYL comes out on top of.
This next round, once again, you can see 3 players of BLG and the player pushing out on B, or at least holding aggressively. They have this full vice setup, and now with the steel guard, no guns for BLG. And this is what we're talking about, that if they get on site, their chances of getting this round will increase tenfold. But look at BLG, they're already ready here, just waiting for the steel garden to stop. And now it seems like they're just gonna run through it and go together. Sword9 getting the first one, but it's a quick, beautiful kill. And slowly down to 2 HP, gets traded out by the showstopper. No chance there, but Spike is still ticking.
There's only 3 members of TYL remaining here. They're all on site. They have to get so many of these kills. Yo-Yo only able to get 1 before Levius trades him out, and YC gets a 3rd. Ninebody gets 2! No, 3! Ninebody has kept TYL completely alive in this game.
What? I mean, Ninebody on this Vice, just looking so clean with his aim. I mean, just look at this. First a beautiful showstopper kill and nade kill. But now Ninebody in a 2v3 is just 1v3, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, knowing exactly where they're gonna peek from. And it's just like that, 1, 2, 3, couldn't be quicker. And I mean, I said 8-4 wouldn't be bad. And that's exactly what they've managed to do. And now with this halftime, I mean, just talking about the mental from TYL, they've got to be happy at this point that they managed to get 4.
I am shocked that they managed to get 4, but I am also happy that they managed to get 4, because now there's a little inkling, a tiny little bit of hope brewing within us, because now it actually is in a range of score that they could maybe bring it back, but they absolutely have to win this pistol. This is a non-negotiable round for the side of TYL, and if they don't manage to do it, that hope might just be extinguished.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it the way it is. TYL have to win this pistol. That's their one condition, the one thing that they have to fulfill to at least attempt to go for this somewhat of a comeback. I mean, otherwise, I mean, assuming that they get 2 1s and then it's like 10-5, and suddenly we're looking at a scoreline that we've seen from last map. And if they play just like last map, then, I mean, we could be looking at a quick end here. So you're right, TYL has to go for this pistol, and they need to win this.
Well, we're going to have to see how they handle it, and I hope that they actually take that A main control, which is such an important thing on this map in some form, at least through util, if not just through bodies. Does not look like BLG are going to be rushing into things here, as they seem to be kind of running a default from the little bit I saw. A little sneak peek I got from the map. Nope, they're doing 4-1. That's fine. It's pistol. I'm okay with 4-1 on pistol. I'm a big 4-1 hater, but I'm okay with it on pistol.
And you can see the Vice wall immediately set on C. It seems like they just want to go quickly C here. Maybe, B. Maybe a bit of A control just to put a couple of question marks there. But you can see as a pack fighting like an animal that, I don't know, maybe there's another team that has an animal name. I am not 100% sure. But you can see just together as a pack, 3 people on B. But it seems like they're backing out.
They're playing this a lot more controlled than TYL did, at least in the early part of that half here. They've noted that there's way too many people here on A, and they've just made a very, very quick rotate to C here. And the only person here is 9body, but we've seen what he can do, so he's going to have to do a lot more. He is now joined by his teammate Scales, and that's going to be a big help in holding this, because that's a lot of delay.
Yes, and 3 players from TYL immediately onto C. Pivot B would be amazing, but they obviously don't have the info, so it seems like they just want to back off. The problem is, I mean, is this Fnatic playing, or why are there only 40 seconds and you have no map control? 5 people in spawn.
They've just gone fully, it's like the round just started, really. The way that they just are in spawn, it's just like the round just started, and they have somehow taken rubble control. They might not clear Sword 9 here. They have to clear Sword 9 here, but they might not. They don't do it, but it doesn't matter. He can't hit his shot. Scales, though, can. Solitate's taken out, and Neff gets another one as well. And there goes Yo-Yo. K-Knight getting another kill, and the only one left really is 9body. Yes, there's Scales, but he has 13 HP. How much can he do with just that?
3v2, it looked great at the beginning. Scales getting the 2 B players there, but they BLG could quickly pivot into an A push here, and it seems like Scales' life might be cut short by the K-Knight, who is on his 4K if he managed to get this last one, and he does so. K-Knight with 4, that's also great for his ult. And, well, we were talking about how TYL needs this pistol. Well, now they need the eco. There's just no other way to say it.
No, there is no other way to say it. Scales doing his best to get as many as he can, but it is K-Knight with 4, the stalwart defender of a 9-5, 9-4 scoreline. Yeah, you're right. TYL have to get that eco. And we're going to have to pretend that they won the pistol. There's no other way.
Yeah, guys, it's 0-5. Don't worry about it. We can still do this. Interestingly enough, I thought they would go for a buy here, but it seems like with 9-4, it's maybe not quite enough that you need to go for a force here. And that's a beautiful way to start. Slowly with the Marshall headshot. That's a good first step for Slowly here. Some player that also has been struggling quite a lot in these last couple of maps. And even with this, what a shot from Sword 9. Why is he maybe a bit over-eager there? And now slowly holding the speed side down with Scales, maybe even seems like we're going to go for a C pivot, but 9body's there just waiting for them. And it's beautiful. 1-2, even spots the 3, the third, but it doesn't even matter. Now Neff alone with the Stinger. And, well, I said they needed the eco. Seems like they're going to get it.
They did it. I mean, unless they monumentally throw the rest of this round, they've got it. It's 4v1, and that is an incredible way to keep yourselves in this game, and it's a great choice to pick up, to buy that Marshall for Slowly, and he gets a pick immediately, and then some incredible shots from the rest of the team as well, including Scales, who has been instrumental in staying alive in this game.
Now, not only do they have the Sheriffs from last round, but they managed to pick up a couple of Bulldogs. That's going to be great for the next buy, just to build their economy. And now 5-9, definitely looking a bit better than 6-0. Let's be honest. And now with the sides flipped, it's BLG as expected onto an eco of their own. The question is now, can they do what TYL did just around before and somehow manage to win this?
Don't get ecoed. Don't get ecoed. Don't get ecoed. TYL, you have to win this round. You have to make it 9-6 and then maybe even win the next one. So this is a much more important round than the buys from both sides would suggest. It does seem like Billy Gaming are looking towards a full stack towards Siege. They just have worse guns. They want to trade each other out, maybe pick up a few guns along the way. And here they go.
They're just grouping up in front of C. A couple of pot shots there for 9, but he doesn't manage to find anything. And now finally going in with a double satchel. A beautiful flash there, but unfortunately DPs Rhines into the arms of 9buddy, and Scales joins him in the kill feed, just like Yo-Yo. And out of the 5-5 comes a 5v2. Rusha and K-Knight, basically no util. Maybe, I mean, K-Knight will have the Fade ult after this round if he manages to fall. And maybe just wants to go for another kill here, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Rusha gets taken down, it's just left to 1. K-Knight, never mind. A nice shot on 2-1, but Scales gets the trade. K-Knight will have his ult up for the next round, but that being said, it's now 6-9. It's only 3 rounds between these teams. It's slowly getting forward. It's slowly turning around for TYL.
3 rounds is far from unsurmountable here. And yes, that was just a save round, but there were a couple of crucial mistakes by the side of BLG too, as you know, particularly that Omen shrouded step and teleport and the double satchel from YZ. And if BLG keep making those mistakes, I actually see a path for TYL back into this game.
BLG going for the timeout, understandable now that they're still 3 rounds up, but it looks like on some level that they're on the back foot. So they want to go for this preemptive timeout to see if they can stop at least some of the bleeding. And while they're bleeding, TYL is saying, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Only 3 rounds left. They can keep this momentum from the other side, and the old economy is looking great. The money economy is looking also great, but BLG maybe also wanted to build up their own ult economy with, as we said, the Fade ult on K-Knight's side. Maybe a bit of clash that we're going to see here in these next couple of rounds.
You know, it's very interesting. It's not very usual to see both teams run Raze on Lotus. The meta has changed a lot, it seems, because it used to be very common, especially for the side of BLG, for YZ to run Neon. But instead, he's running Raze, and he is doing incredibly well. But the problem is on the other side, Slowly has been struggling a lot with taking space on this Raze. Maybe he's not quite used to playing this agent. It does seem like they should have stuck to their Neon comp for now. But now, BLG, both sides have bias here, and this is still a round that TYL absolutely have to win. Their money is not in great shape.
You said that group up on C, but then again, TYL may be being baited for a bit of an A push here. The question is, Rusha, are they going to wait out for the smoke? And if so, what will happen? Rusha, beautiful one tap there. Sword9 wanting to trade his teammate, but he cannot. Rusha is down to 17 HP, but it doesn't matter. With 2 kills, this is the start that BLG wanted. And Scales, one feels like he needs to go for a push here just with 9buddy. And even though they have 2 players on basically 1 HP, Yo-Yo is still going to struggle a lot on this 1v3.
A devastating round for TYL to lose, especially since Rusha could have been killed if Sword9 was able to get that trade here. So I think he's going to be kicking himself a little bit there as well. And with Yo-Yo, the last one left, he is probably still going to try to go for this just because he has an outlaw in hand. But I don't think he's going to be able to get much done.
Fortunately, he stepped quite a bit there, so BLG know exactly where he is. The question is, he needs to do this diligently, and it's only going to be the one, at least one. But that being said, it seems like the timer has worked for BLG. Once again, the Lysor stand up. But from now on, I'm just going to call that the statue. Just standing up and not doing anything. And now 10-6. Yeah, why not? And that's the round that BLG wanted. It seems like the timer has worked for the coach here. A lot of scrappy rounds there.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's also a world where with the 2 players that were basically 1 HP, I believe 2 HP and 17 HP, you also feel like, okay, what happens if they 2 fall? Then suddenly it's not a 5v3 for BLG, but it's a 5v3 for TYL. It could have been completely different. And you can see how these small mistakes can compound into a won or lost round.
Absolutely, and that's a really big pick early on in the round for Levius here and for BLG as he gets rid of Slowly, who I believe had an outlaw just as Yo-Yo did before. They're gonna head towards A here, and there is a person in rubble, Sword 9. He's gonna have to do a lot. He's gonna have to get at least one, or get enough information that the entire team can rotate, because otherwise, I think with the numbers the way they are, it's gonna be a little difficult for BLG to take this. TYL to hold this, rather.
Especially with their star duelist gone. Seems like an explosive Nightfall here that just wanted to clear a lane. The problem is now they don't have a lot of info for a site itself. But for Sword 9 will get spotted out even by the Prowler itself now, and Yo-Yo has to somehow help his teammate. That's a good way to help him with the reveal onto the enemy. But Rouge not quite getting the kill there, and it's a 4v3.
The trade still is good as Sword 9 gets taken out with the blind, fully blinded, and Scales spotting out Rusha and getting rid of him there quickly. And the rubble fight does not go the way of Ninebody, dying to Levius. He has to defuse, but he can't as two. He gets both of them. There's only one person left. It's Levius, and he goes down. It's Scales. It's Scales all day.
What a performance from Scales. Give this guy an Emmy. What a play. Just getting 4 basically out of nowhere and helping his team, helping TYL get their 7th round. And suddenly it seems like we're flip-flopping between, okay, this is over. And wait, no, we got this. Wait, this is over. And it seems like at this point we're at, wait, we got this. We can legitimately do this.
They can legitimately do this if their team members can keep doing stuff like that. I mean, an incredible, yeah, sure, they lined up a little bit, but it's still such clean spray control and a reset to get the last person coming from main. BLG, I mean, 3 rounds, it's not unsurmountable, but they're going for a very fast A pick here.
Oh no, that is slowly getting caught with his pants down, and just like that, it's a quick rifle retrieve for Neff, but it quickly gets taken out by Scales. But YZ, once again, look at these trades. We're at the stock market here. It's just trade after trade after trade, and we're left in 3v3. But look at the gun advantage. Ninebody, why are you sleeping on the job? K-Knight once again, another kill with the Ghost in this round. And what should have been an easy eco turns into a horrible nightmare for TYL.
A horrible nightmare is putting it lightly. Sword 9 does get the kill on Levius, making it a 2v2, and they do still have kind of a gun advantage here, as Rusha only has just this Sheriff in hand, but he knows exactly where he is, and the shot is way too clean, and he might even be able to get the second person. He does. They've just completely lost an eco in a stage where they absolutely cannot be affording to make these mistakes.
And well, we're talking about how little mistakes can compound to a lost round, and that's a perfect example. Just getting caught with the pants down between us inside a smoke and then getting killed. You can see by Neff there. And even with a couple of trades, if you're in an eco, if you manage to trade every one of your kills, then you have the advantage because you managed to get so many guns out of them. And I mean, 11 to BLG, 7-11. And TYL once again just struggling.
7-11 is not a great score to be at, especially when BLG winning this map means that BLG win this series, and they're not really too eager to take this, and this showstopper might just be wasted, and it absolutely is. They haven't actually even fully cleared rubble until they do just now.
Good news is, it seems like they're gonna go C, and they have a Viper spit there. Bad news is, it's only the Viper MC. So you can see finally Yo-Yo going there maybe for a couple of a bit more help on that side. And slowly now it's his job to go for this info. Rusha is ready for the jump peak, almost spots it, almost gets the shot, but not quite. And you can see the A re-clear now coming out. You can see BLG just from one side to the other. They're just playing with their food. They're just waiting for the best time to pounce.
If they go back to see that it's not the Viper spit, is not gonna have gone anywhere. So I'm a little confused as to what the game plan here is from BLG, but they are again going back to the person who's alone.
Exactly.
That might still work out for them. Oh, they don't clear.
He does not get us by this Prowler, but he doesn't get cleared by the Showstopper. He gets one. The question is how many more can he get? He gets spammed out. So nothing more from Scales here. The Steel Garden being used. Rusha not quite getting the kill. These lurking kills are just not going on the side of BLG these last couple of rounds. But the spike gets planted in a 3v4.
It is a good position to be retaking from TYL. They have a lot of control. Waterfall and CT completely open, and the rest of BLG are kind of stuck on side the last 3 remaining members. It's a nice little shot onto the head. It's a nice shot from K-Knight as well. 9body getting taken down, but it's Sword9, the only person that can get a kill, and slowly gets 1-2, and he gets a second one. Levy is taken down, and that's another round for TYL to pick up.
Well, we know Slowly shouldn't play Op, he shouldn't play Phantom or Vandal, just give him a Guardian. 2 beautiful one-shots from there. Finally, you could say the Duelist turning up, and with those 2 kills, at this point, I actually believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I actually think we're playing table tennis, because the rounds are legitimately just going back and forth, and at this point, if you get a bit of momentum, it could be anybody's game.
It absolutely could be anybody's game. Again, we're at a 3-round deficit, which I feel like we've been at since 9-6, I think. So TYL keep a healthy distance from BLG, but they need to close that distance a bit more, because we're getting towards the tail end of this map. And once BLG get to 12, you can't be 3 down. That's way too far, and that might just be the start they need to do exactly that. Slowly taking care of Rusia on the ASL.
Rusia, who's top fragging for his team and has the Viper Spit. I'm not 100% sure about that play, especially when you said we're at the tail end, we need these couple of rounds, and something like a Viper Spit is just so useful, such a good resource that you have on your side, and wasting it like that, I'm not 100% sure about that play from Rusia. That being said, it seems like the rest of the team maybe playing, you can see YZ playing a bit with the door there, maybe putting some pressure on B and C, but the rest of the team are going to go into Sword9, but Sword9 is just ready for it, even with the flash. Doesn't matter if he gets counter flashed, Slowly is there to help him, and it's another numbers advantage, now a 5v3 for TYL, that surely they don't win, right? Okay.
No, not like this, because Slowly gets a kill and Sword9 gets a kill as well. Slowly has been really good these past few rounds in getting TYL back into this, and this is a nice little fight from K-Knight. Managing to get 1 kill. He manages to get a second one as well. He's the only one left. He's got 21 HP, and there's 3 more people that he has to kill. It's an ace to win this round, but wait a minute, how does he get up and turn that? He has 7 HP left, 2 people remaining. He doesn't quite get the headshot out of that one, but I can't believe he got a 3rd one.
I mean, in a 1v5, do you blame him for getting 3 and almost getting the spike down? I don't. I mean, you can see, and that's also one great thing of BLG, that we've seen their resilience time and time again, that really it doesn't matter if it's 0-12 and it's a 1v5. They're gonna try their darndest. They're gonna try their best. And in this case, well, their best is seemingly 3 kills. Unfortunately, nothing for his ult there for K-Knight, since he already had it before. But it doesn't really matter. It's just a fact. It's a statement that you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. I can be 1 HP, and I'm still gonna kill 3 of you.
Yeah, and Slowly has been very instrumental in keeping TYL in this, at least for the last few rounds, getting very high impact kills at exactly the right time that they needed. He's slowly getting himself back into this game. He was really struggling on attack, but on defense, he's really coming alive. It's a timeout from BLG. What do you think they're talking about?
That's a good question. It's the fact that you're 2 rounds ahead of the enemy team and still feel like every round you're struggling. Every round it feels like, okay, this could come down to a 1v1 or it could just be a flawless round. But for both of these teams. So that's a good question. BLG maybe just trying to prep their strategies, trying to see if they can find any holes in TYL's side, which, I mean, TYL is prone to leaving a couple of holes there. But as you can see, BLG, in the slight sneak peek that we have, are on an eco with only the Vandal, no shields, rifle by their top frag Rusia. So maybe the strat was just for next round after the eco.
Yeah, I mean, they have absolutely no guns, and this hero Vandal from Rusia is risky as well. So even though they've not bought, this can end up being bad for them, but it doesn't matter because Rusia gets not 1 but 2, and YZ gets 1 as well with his Sheriff. Only Sword9 was able to get a kill, and somehow TYL are down to just 2 members off the back of an incredible double kill from Rusia. I think he did that just to shut me up, and I do apologize, Rusia.
But what can I say? Rusha, who's been so dominant, getting those 2 kills with the rifle. Normally you'd be like, okay, let YZ take the rifle, but no, it's Rusha. But YZ still with his rifle of his own manages to get one. And Yo-Yo, I mean, it's gonna be 12-9. It doesn't matter how you put it. It's gonna be match point after a long and arduous last couple of rounds for BLG. They will get to match point. And Rusha, I mean, what can I say about him that I haven't said before? He was my pick for the one player that I'm looking out for, even though you have people like K-Knight and YZ, seasoned veterans on the team. I was like, Rusha, we gotta look at this guy. And I mean, almost 20 kills on Viper. That's something that you love to see.
No, this guy was a monster all of stage 1 and earlier today in Bind as well, and he just continues to show up round after round after round here on Lotus. And yep, they're on match point. And again, somehow TYL are again 3 rounds below. So they've come very close repeatedly to bridging the distance here, but they haven't quite been able to get closer than 3 rounds. And well, they might get a 10th one here. That's the pattern.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, so far in the South, the maximum amount of rounds in a row that they've managed to get is just 2. But both of those for BLG, so that's why they managed to grow their lead to now. I mean, bro, it's still been on 3 for like so many rounds, but it's still match point. So at this point, TYL cannot afford a single round loss.
Well, that's a really bad start because Rusha has just found 9body and taken his head completely off. And there might be a nice fight here from Scales, and he does in fact get YZ. And that's a lot of space that they've actually managed to retake by just getting that kill and pushing BLG back all the way to A, where Yo-Yo lies in wait with Phantom in hand. He has to get more than 1. He can't even really manage to get 1 for now. He's gonna wait here. He's gonna try to get more. He has to get so much more. What a disgusting
it's a messy fight on B. Now Sword. Rusha, no. I know you're a great player, but from that range against 2 players that are one of who is full HP, you just won't get a kill with a shorty.
Neff slowly pushing up here. He's taken quite a lot of space here, actually. If it's a B split that they're going for, they might just make it work. It is dodged though, but it doesn't matter. K-Knight is coming in from main. Sword9 has no idea, does not expect it whatsoever. There's a person having a person CT. This retake is disjointed. The Viper's spit does help, but there's so much damage done on the slowly. He has to do so much with so little.
Yeah,
not
no
even
chance.
One.
Yo-Yo and Scales. Scales even spotted and nearsighted by the Nightfall, and Yo-Yo down to 8 HP. It is the beginning of the end. At this point, they can just spam it. He has no chance. And K-Knight, once again, on another 4K that he can get. Not even a chance to spam it. A nice idea. But just a bit of counter spam will be the end of it. K-Knight getting his 4K. And after a bit of trouble in the middle of this half, they managed to get their 2-0. Against TYL.
Yeah, and it was a bit of a struggle on Lotus, but even so, honestly, not really. It ended 39, which is kind of close when you consider that BLG, I believe, won both pistols. But even so, closer than Bind, but not quite all the way there. It does seem like a massive difference in sort of team play and overall game plan between these 2 teams. And I've said it so many times, and I have to say one more time, Mike, I did not like the way that TYL played that attack. However, we did see some incredible peaks of brilliance from these players here, especially from the likes of Scale and
Yo-Yo.
And Yo-Yo as well. We cannot neglect the newbie. Yo-Yo was incredible, no?
Yeah, I mean, I believe, if I remember correctly, he top fragged the first game. And I mean, if you're looking at TYL and wondering what went wrong, I believe that the first thing you have to look at was slowly. I don't know if he was set up correctly. I don't know if he just, I mean, there were a couple of instances where he just couldn't hit his shots. I am prone to believe that it's just that maybe he didn't have enough breakfast, or he just didn't do his pre-game ritual enough. I don't think you have to go to drastic measures, but slowly in his next game needs to show the world that he is still a good duelist and still worthy of being in the tier 1 team, because this map just this game just wasn't it for him.
Yeah, I mean, really struggling, especially to get those first kills in both maps, in both Bind and in Lotus. I think he needs to work a little bit more on, especially being set up by his team. I think there was a lot of struggles for the side of TYL who couldn't quite set it up. But yeah, look, on the other side though, let's talk about the winners for a second here, because my God, YZ was incredible. But even more than YZ, I think you know which player I'm going to talk about is Rusia, because my God, he was incredible. He top fragged Bind, top fragged Lotus by a bigger margin than even Bind, and had, I think, the highest overall rating in the entire game. An incredible player who only seems to be getting better with every time we see him.
And as a Viper, getting 20 kills on Lotus on a map that didn't even go overtime, and with those 20 kills being the top fragger. So it's not like, I don't know, YZ got 30 and then you're like, okay, you got 20 but YZ got 30. No, he was the top fragger with those 20 kills, and so many of those kills were impactful kills, either taking out the lurker or lurking yourself. And it's that productivity that we're talking about when it comes to BLG. It doesn't always work out, but even if it works out like 70% of the time when you get proactive, it's still worth it. And it's that, I don't want to say aggressiveness necessarily, but like knowing when to take your timings, knowing when you, or maybe when you should double peek something to take down a lurker, for example. And that's also their strength, apart from obviously the star players that they have. And in this case, I think it's fair enough to say that Rusia is one of their star players, especially considering if you take Stage 1 and even maybe Toronto into account.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you'd be quite crazy to not take those into account. And even if you don't, again, like you said, he absolutely is a star player. And you know what? The guy is really difficult to not like. Every time he stands up, he takes off his headphones, he puts it down neatly to the side. He follows all the organizational rules. He stands up, he gives a nice little warm little smile. He's amazing. And he just, again, keeps getting better. And besides this round that we're seeing on the replay here, which was incredibly important eco for them that they won, he was also instrumental in closing this out towards the end, where they won that eco that actually put them on match point by buying that hero Vandal and getting 2 kills very quickly with it by opening door. 265 ACS, 2.1 KDA, 177 average damage per round, and even to top it all off, almost 80% KASD. Incredible. Truly incredible.
There is no other player that you want the MVP to have in this case, especially considering his role. That being said, I mean, look at the rest of the team. Still, it wasn't like an ass-pass performance where you're like, okay, it's only Rusia trying to carry his team. You can see K-Knight also being so solid, and people like Levius who managed to get so much from his productivity from pushing out on defense and maybe getting, even if he didn't get a kill, he got so much info. So it was definitely a team effort. On the other side, we see Scales also on the Viper. So I don't know, maybe Lotus is now the new Viper MVP map. But nice try from TYL there, especially considering that they went down, I think in the worst, it was like 8-1 or something like that. And we can see, I mean, on a couple of things, they're completely tied up. You can see in First Bloods, it's 11-11. And flawless rounds, I mean, the numbers still look quite similar, even though you can see a bit of an advantage for BLG there.
Yeah, I mean, they won 5 of their 7 post-plans, well, and TYL won 4 of their 5 post-plans. It's just that TYL couldn't quite get onto site enough there. And the problem there is, again, I mean, I don't want to harp on the same thing, but that 4-1 split just did not give them enough map control to make it go. But, well, either way, there is your game. 2-0 for Billy Gaming. 13-5 on Bind and 13-9 on Lotus here. A bit of a dominant performance from Billy, and yeah.
You're right, a good start for Billy there, getting 1-0. That's always a good start, especially when we're talking about the new stage, stage 2. And TYL, we have seen some fight from them, which sometimes is more that we can say about them in stage 1. We've seen a lot of good things, and I think the player caliber is good enough to be in tier 1. The question is just going to be, how are you going to adapt now? How are you going to have your mental after having lost one game? How are you going to maybe change up your comms, or maybe But that's it. Now we're going into the interview. We're gonna have videos of translated here, so everyone have fun.
欢迎如夏，一个非常非常可爱的选手。那今天是你们来到 Stage 2的首战，一上来可能在对方的自选图员工重阵，你们打的就非常的游刃有余。那现在也是迎来了全新的版本嘛，对于全新的图池，你们会不会更加的自信一些呢？
这个图池
，with the new map bind that you played, you guys played today, are you guys like more comfortable with this new map pool? And BLG are happy that split out.
有很多的高光操作。那其实再聊一下嘛，因为其实，在员工中阵这张图上面的话，从起点赛到现在，你们的阵容变化还是比较大的，是不是这段时间对于这张图有
And they're saying that their team comp changes on bind have been pretty drastic from kickoff to now.
因为哲哥太能杀了。
对，王浩哲他是一个非常能够为团队打开突破口的决斗位选手。那你觉得王浩哲是一个什么类型的决斗呢？
And what kind of duels player do you think YZ is? And he says he's really not afraid of like team fights and dying.
对，王浩哲是一个非常外向的一个选手，包括说他可能枪也非常的硬，包括说他的真实击杀效率也非常的高。那其实有些人会说，可能这个版本是属于边线的版本，你会怎样去看待这个版本呢？
边线版本，我觉得是决斗版本吧，还是靠大哥吧。
And people are saying that this version of the game is more reliant on lurkers, and while he thinks that it's more reliant on the duels. And he says that you stood up many times today. And what do you think about it?
是小爵告诉你的。小爵当时是怎么告诉你的？
他说站起来好像能提供队伍士气嘛，然后我就想站着也没什么损。
And he says that standing up basically like gives the team a massive boost of energy.
到你的手中。那今天其实你们之前采访有提到嘛，可能对于 Stage 1的结果不是那么的满意。那来到了 Stage 2，你们的目标。
And you guys said you weren't too satisfied with your results in Stage 1.
进季后赛吧，后面的事后面再说。
And they say that their goal so far is still to just get into the playoffs first.
粉丝朋友其实有着你的卡通形象的这样的一个 cos， 有没有什么话想要对一起支持你的粉丝说？
谢谢。
And do you have anything to say to your fans? His fans made like very cute cartoon drawings of him today.
非常感谢大家的
He's really thanks them.
大家能够来到现场。那我们今天的赛后采访到这里就结束了，拜拜。
And that's about it.
Thank you once again for Bidos for the translation. And as you can see, it's now over, at least for this day. There was only one game, and it's a quick 2, or rather quick 2-0 for BLG. Tomorrow's game are going to be XLG versus AG and Wolves Esports against FPX. So both other teams that went to Toronto are going to play tomorrow. Don't forget, the first map tomorrow, or the first game tomorrow, is going to happen quite a bit sooner. It depends on your time zone, but as always, you can just look at the schedule. And that being said, thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be either of us, but you're going to have 2 other wonderful casters here. And it's goodbye for me. Cass, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, look, tomorrow's games are going to be so exciting, whether you're looking to see if XLG are any better with their replacement for YOU, or whether Wolves can keep the form that they had, the insane, unbelievable form that they had in Toronto. But the only thing I want to take away from today's games is that BLG are here to play. They are still the strong powerhouses of the region that you expect them to be, but you shouldn't sleep on TYL either, because we saw glimpses of brilliance that could develop into an incredibly good team. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope that you join us again tomorrow and that you enjoyed our cast today. See you guys next time.